Well, that's the news that's just coming in. Big, beautiful bill debate continues. It's ongoing. Hakeem Jeffries, Minority Leader of the U.S. House of Representatives, is filibustering as we speak, not allowing voting to begin. It just seems like they're trying to stall the voting to ensure that the bill does not go through and then reaches the White House. The US president had earlier said that it is time that everybody votes for the bill, especially the Republicans. It would be ridiculous for the Republicans not to vote for this bill. But Hakeem Jeffries, and I quote him, says, "I will take my sweet time." Rohit Sharma, my colleague, joins me from Washington, D.C. Rohit, interesting. He used the magic minute and is filibustering as we speak. What happens to the bill?
Well, look, this is one of those provisions that allows the minority leader to take the floor as long as he wants to. You rightly pointed out he could be going for a record here. I mean, the last record was set for 8 hours and 23 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. It was done by Kevin McCarthy in 2021. So this is a last-ditch effort to delay the bill. And meanwhile, on the parallelly, Democrats are calling their constituents to call some of the Republican congressmen to switch their votes. So I think this is last bit of posturing, so to say, trying to get some headlines out of the speech. But Republicans are confident. Speaker Johnson is very confident that they have the votes and they will be able to, table the bill as soon as Jeffries concludes his speech and get this bill to President's desk so that he could sign this on July 4th, as promised by President Trump.
Well, again, there is a 4th of July deadline that the president has set. Not that it is a deadline after which the bill will cease to exist, but it's a deadline for President Trump. Do you think Jeffries will manage to ensure that that does not happen?
Well, he can keep talking. It's for as long as he wants. I mean, last I checked, he's only had one loo break, so we'll have to wait and watch how he's able to do that. But I think, in all, I mean, in all reality, I think the speech has to end at some point, Geeta. And I think you've got to, sort of look at the Republicans, and we always say this in Washington, D.C., that Republicans always fall in line. There were 4 big holdout votes up until midnight last night. And this morning, they were able to convince them, the White House were able to convince them to vote on the Republican line. So I think, I think it is a foregone conclusion at this point in time. He could delay it by another hour, 2 or 3 hours, but the bill will be passed and Donald Trump will sign it either tonight or tomorrow.
Well, also, just quickly, Rohit, when the filibustering is happening, there's also a lot of engagement, backroom conversations and backroom channels that open up to ensure that those Republicans who had sided against the bill are talked back into not voting for the bill. Do you think that's what the Democrats are doing right now?
They're trying. They definitely are trying, Geeta, and that's what happens in the clock room. You try to corner some of these holdout votes and try to convince them. But I think our understanding at this point is that President Trump has in the White House has convinced them of ensuring that their concerns are taken care of. Some will be taken care of with the executive orders, but Democrats are certainly hoping that if they could, make it more difficult for Republicans to pass this bill, I think that would be a win for them. But as I said, I think they've lined up all the votes, they've counted the numbers multiple times, and as soon as the bill is tabled, it will definitely pass today.
Right, Rohit Sharma, thank you so much for joining me. You keep a tab on what's happening there in the House, and we'll keep dipping into you as and when news breaks. Thank you.